Here's my dog Samson. What are you doing, baby, huh? Are you resting? Yeah, he's a great dog. He's a great dog. Here in my room, here on Thursday, just optimizing my computer. Just getting things done. I don't know why that happened. That clock's wrong. Here's the real time. 7:20. Let's see, I think it's the 30th. Thursday, August 29th. It's 29th Thursday. Yeah, I really love this poster here. Free the Spirit. It's real nice. I love this here. Ephesians 6:10. Ephesians 6 is great. There's a photograph of a picture on the wall of that little place in Stillwater, Eskimo Joe's, by where we sat at the table. There's my last name, Clem, Clem's Cola. I didn't know anything about that. There's my wife, picture I took when we were dating years and years ago. Here's my grandmother, Pearl Clem. I don't know how old she was, or I don't forget when I took the picture. There's my stepdaughters, Elizabeth and on the left and Amy on the right. Here's some little drawings my wife made. Here's my friends, Jack and James, real nice. Got some files on my dad. Just here's all my movies. Got a lot of movies. Got a nice Logitech system, a little Bose system over there. Yeah. Haven't had the microwaves happening for quite a while. Just sitting here in the room. And I was going to talk about my ET experiences since childhood. As far as I remember back, it happened when I was about 4 years old, when we were coming back from Switzerland in 1958. My dad was in the Air Force. He was second in command at Ramstein, is what I understand. Ramstein Air Force Base, Germany. He's a nice man. He was kind of strict when he was in the Air Force. When he got out, he was a lot nicer, a lot more mellow. Worked for City Hall, San Antonio. He worked at personnel and public information, and he was supervisor for the building of the Tower of Americas in San Antonio. They had a hemisphere back in 1968. A lot of foreign countries involved. My dad was involved in that, and it was real nice. Got to go up on the Tower of Americas before it was completely finished. Just kind of a cement slab up there. I think it's about 700 feet tall. Anyway, I had a nice childhood. My mother loved me. My dad loved me. They treated me real good. I had a little problems like all kids do with their parents. Nothing, really serious. My dad was stressed out when he was in the Air Force, it seemed like. When we moved to San Antonio, he was in the Air Force OSI, second in command over there, headquarters company, Randolph. It's just a job to do. Military jobs, they go out to try to protect the Air Force, the OSI does, and investigate problems with the public and affecting the Air Force. And, my dad looked after presidents that visited San Antonio and from foreign countries, and also local presidents, and it was nice. I believe in 1959, in August, when we came back from Germany, that I got to meet President Eisenhower in August 1959. I heard later, past few years, that Eisenhower had something to do with UFOs. I don't know that for a fact. I just hear it. I haven't seen any or heard any really from anybody. I've heard of reverse engineering. I've heard John Lear's from Las Vegas is very good information. And I heard somebody said Bob Lazar is disinformation. I don't know anything about the politics of the UFO circles. I just believe my encounters are true. I know my dad when I told him about the UFOs. My mother and I when I was a small child, about 6, 7, 8 years old, I was having abductions experiences there in San Antonio. I'd wake up, and first one I can remember, I'd wake up and I'd be in that lit room. I just assumed it was aboard their craft, sitting on a table while these two gray ETs were looking me over. The ones I've seen weren't exactly gray, they were all white. One of the last real good memories I had of them was in, I forget the exact date, 2002, over there at Gene and Richard Seyfried's in Arkansas, before they moved to their permanent residence they have now. Of course, Gene Seyfried has passed away from high complications with cancer, but they approached me about 7:30 in the morning. Everybody was asleep except for me. I always get up early, and the ETs, I was getting my change and my wallet and everything off the bedside table there where we were staying at their house, their rented house, and the ETs were in the room. I turned around, there was 4 of them there, dressed in these navy blue skin-tight suits, and they were wearing a wide black belt with all 4 of them had a little black box on the right side of the belt, and I was immediately paralyzed in place, and they were talking in my head. As far as I can remember, they were giving me some good information because I had questions. They seemed to know that I had questions. I was thinking about them, before I even seen them, and they seemed to know that I had questions. They were giving me some good information, but they seemed to stop, and I can't even remember what it was. And after I was talking to them, it was just, they had me smiling. I was with my girlfriend at the time. She goes by the name of Terrell. I know she's born in Germany. Her name is spelled capital Terrell, Terrell. She went by Terry for a number of years in childhood and later on, but she changed it to Terrell, which is on her birth certificate, I believe. But anyway, they were there, and but they had me smiling like a smirk or something, like they were pleased that I was with her. And she remembers them there. She thinks she does, I guess. But anyway, they were talking to me. Well, they just told me that there'd be more abductions. Is what they left me at. And they said I couldn't talk about them until 2 weeks, or 2 days after they had gone. And I tried to talk to Gene and Richard there in their living room about them being there, but I couldn't get the words out, like they had some kind of mind control or block in my head. And I just couldn't talk about them. And that was in Eureka Springs, and we visited the Passion Play and had a nice time and looking around Eureka Springs, a beautiful place. They call it like a little Switzerland there. It's in Arkansas, United States. Yeah, it was real nice. Had a nice time with Gene and Richard. Richard is a very interesting man, a book author. I recommend his book. He has books on history and about the Southwest and the Indians. And he's served as a park ranger for like 14 years. I think it's the Glacier National Park. Real nice gentleman, real nice older gentleman, real down to earth, real friendly. And I know they have the Ozark UFO conference there in April, I think it is. I never did get to go. I've had money problems and woes. I have Social Security and VA benefits, and been disabled since 1988. I had like 10% disability in like 1978, 79. And my grandmother looked at me for a while. My dad looked after me. When I got out of the service, I had problems. But I'm doing fairly well. Still have problems. I'm doing well. But in my childhood, it was kind of rough sometimes. I had problems, but sometimes I'd wake up fully clothed, in pajamas, outside the, I was about 8, 9, 10, outside the house, and I didn't know how I slept, walked, or how I got outside. I think I was abducted. I'd try to get in the door, the screen door is locked, and I'd have to ring the doorbell, and my dad would ask me what I'm doing out there. I says, I don't know. I guess I sleptwalked. But I think there were many abductions. I used to have scoop marks on me, like on the inside of my ankles. I thought they were from my shoes, but they look weird. It's kind of like a thin skin covering these scoop marks that I couldn't understand. But anyway, it's just been going on for a number of years. The last sighting I had was in 2006, where it's down by Okarche, Oklahoma, in a field as you go around the bend there from Highway 81 into Highway 3, leading into Oklahoma City Northwest Expressway. But reminded me of a craft that was sighted in Tulsa back in the 60s, and it seemed like they went over. I was driving a pickup truck. It seemed like they went over. I was just scared to death. They gave me a feeling of extreme fear. And I'd been going down to MUFON meetings in Tuttle and in Yukon. And I was going to one when I saw a UFO, and I didn't take a picture or anything. I've always wanted to take a picture, but I think I've had the opportunity, but never did. And after the sighting in Texas in 1978, I believe it was, in April or May of 1978, that had an encounter where me and some friends, we went out toward Salt Plains, the refuge out here in Oklahoma, northwest Oklahoma, and UFO buzzed the car. It came down close to the car, up in the sky, and I could see. I was sitting on the passenger seat up front, and my friend's wife was sitting in the middle holding a battery-powered radio. The car radio didn't work, and he was driving, and all the power went off on the car and the radio. The lights went out. It was about 10 o'clock at night, I think 10:30. And we might have had missing time. I wasn't keeping track so much back then, or had any memory, wasn't doing any UFO investigations to speak of, just kind of experiencing. And we went there and sat down at the table, had a beer or two, and this UFO flew over. It looked like a quarter at arm's length, about that size, with a little fiery tail on the end. And it flew over, and then all the lights went out on the lake and around there on the park side and camping sites, or they have lights out there. And then shortly after, a man dressed in civilian clothes driving a U.S. Army Corps of Engineers truck came up, and he said he'd worked there 14 years and never seen anything like that happen. And they were sitting there in the dark, and then it flew over again. And then after it gone, all the lights came back on the lake. And I think this is about 1980, 1979 maybe. But, my mother and I kept secrets from my dad about the UFOs. She told me never to tell him about my abductions, because when I was a little kid, I'd wake up after being abducted. I was hysterical, telling my mom about these strangers that came to get me in the middle of the night, and I wasn't home, and I was just upset. But it just kept going on. My mom had to take me to get shots. I'd stay home from school, and she'd take me to get shots, probably a psychiatrist or something. But I had dependent ID to go out to the Forest Ammunition there in San Antonio, but she never did take me out there. She took me to a private doctor. Well, we kept it secret for years until shortly before my dad really started getting sick from his diabetes and had a leg amputated. I told him about what happened with my mom and me and what was going on, because I was getting visions about these landmarks or places. I told a friend about it. He knew the area, and we went out to check these out and had UFO encounters. And it was pretty interesting. But anyway, it keeps going on. I haven't had anything since 2006. Maybe some kind of daydream or visions or something of them, but nothing. They've told me not to act like the big shot. They said there's no way that I could know anything about what's going on with them, and there's been people studying it for 50 years, and this guy, after this encounter at Lake Dardanelle, where we saw me and Gene Wood, who's passed away since 2005, he and I saw a cylinder, shiny cylinder object in the sky, and he was real interested in looking for him. After that, at night he saw Saturn, bright, and this was in 2003 in September, when the sighting occurred at Lake Dardanelle, over by the Sandy Cove area out there on the lake, out in the main part of the lake where the Arkansas River goes through. But, I don't know that much about UFOs. I investigated for MUFON for a while in 1986 till about 91 for Jean Waller Seyfried. It was Jean Waller, was her married name back then. And I appeared on UFOs over Oklahoma with Dan Slocum, who became Eric Slocum in Seattle, Washington. He died of a suicide. And boy, I've had my ups and downs in this area where I'm at. It seems like the people are out to get me, There's my paranoia, but things are going on with my payee. I had a payee over my VA money, my Social Security. I'll be able to handle some of it myself, but things are getting better. Just pray for me. I pray that everybody out there that listens to me or knows me will be blessed and have shalom, peace and love and understanding and compassion for one another, and that people will have you know, love in their heart toward their neighbor, and understanding and forgiveness. A lot of forgiveness, a lot of getting along, sitting down, talking out differences, and forgiveness. And I thank you for watching me and caring about me, and I care about y'all. And God is love. Thank you.